Now get up to $9,396 total savings on Ford F-150, the 2018 Motor Trend Truck of the Year.
Good morning, America. This morning, President Trump back home and facing hard questions about seeking to fire Robert Mueller, who reportedly stood in the way, and how Congress may now step in to protect the special counsel. Plus, why the president was booed in Davos.
Support for the survivors. The rally at Michigan State University calling for change.
No more silence!
Following the sentencing of disgraced Olympic doctor Larry Nassar, the school taking action and the U.S. Gymnastics Board resigning.
They enabled this monster. They took his side over us for so long.
Faces of the flu, the virus claiming more lives, more than 36 children dying from the flu, along with baby boomers.
He thought he could tough it out.
Why a robust immune system could actually work against you. And should you be on Tamiflu if someone in your house is infected?
And going for glory, the high-flying athletes getting airborne at the X Games. Their extreme moves pushing the limit.
Backside rodeo.
Going for gold here and at the Olympics. The names to watch competing for superstar of the slopes.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
All right, good morning. Let's get right to our top story. You're looking live at the White House, where the president is waking up this morning after a quick overseas trip to Switzerland.
He arrived home overnight, greeted by a reporter shouting questions about the news that the president allegedly ordered the firing of special counsel Robert Mueller, only to relent when the top White House lawyer reportedly threatened to resign.
This morning, Democrats in Congress are pushing for new legislation to protect the special counsel, but will Republicans join them? And does this news about Trump and Mueller bolster a possible case for obstruction of justice against the president?
Matthew Dowd is standing by for analysis, but we're going to begin with ABC's David Wright, who is at the White House for us this morning. David, good morning to you.
Good morning, Paula and Dan. President Trump arrived back here amid mounting questions over the Russia probe, especially that question of whether he tried to fire the special counsel. Trump calls it fake news, but that alone won't satisfy his critics. As President Trump returned to the White House, he was in no mood to answer any questions about the Russia probe. In Davos, too, he dodged.
Mr. President, did you seek to fire Mueller?
Fake news, folks. Fake news.
What's your message today?
Typical New York Times fake story.
But overseas, that line of attack.
And it wasn't until I became a politician that I realized how nasty, how mean, how vicious, and how fake the press can be.
Didn't go over so well. The notion of fake news got booed. ABC News has now confirmed the president did seek to fire Mueller last June, 1 month into the job, until, according to the Times, White House counsel Don McGahn threatened to quit. At the time, the president made no secret of his wish to be rid of Mueller and the investigation. The president's longtime friend Chris Ruddy certainly had that impression and said so last June.
I think he's considering perhaps terminating the special counsel. I think he's weighing that option.
But at the time, Trump denied that was the case.
I haven't given it any thought.
Any attempt to fire Mueller could be a factor in an obstruction of justice case.
I can't say that I'm surprised, but I'm deeply disturbed by this president seeking to do something that to me is tantamount to authoritarianism.
Congress may now move to protect Mueller by blocking the president's ability to fire a special counsel just in case.
Now, in light of the president's intent becoming clear, I hope that that legislation would be taken up and passed immediately by both houses.
And the important thing, though, is the president hasn't fired him. The president has let him continue to go and go and go.
Congress now has several bills that would shield the special counsel, those bills proposed by the Democrats. But the Republican chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Chuck Grassley, now says he'd be open to the idea, too. Dan and Paula?
All right, David Wright, thank you for reporting from the White House this morning. We want to check in with Chief Political Analyst Matthew Dowd, who's joining us from Texas this morning. Matthew, good morning. So, Matthew, you're not a lawyer, but you have been in the political game for a very long time. So what's your take? Does the latest news about Trump and Mueller bolster a possible case for obstruction of justice?
Yeah, you definitely don't want me being your lawyer, even on a traffic ticket in this. But it doesn't take Perry Mason or Matlock to begin to see clearly and to begin to build a case in the midst of this. What's fascinating to me in this, Paula, is that not only is Donald Trump the subject of this investigation, but he's actually building a case against himself in the course of this by what his tweets, what he says, and now, allegedly, we've heard what his actions were, or what his actions he wanted to be in June. So I think this case is getting built more solidly. We'll know what, obviously, when the special counsel Mueller announces what he's going to do in this. But Donald Trump is the biggest part of the problem in this case against himself.
As David Wright reported, the Democrats are now pushing for legislation to protect Mueller. Do you think Republicans will join them, and should they?
Well, it's hard. We've often gone through these predictions. It's hard to predict what's going to happen in a kiddie soccer game, where the ball's going to go. So I don't really know what the Republicans are going to do. My guess is they're going to say, since this is going to wrap up, there's no need to pass this, since this is a short-term thing, that the special counsel Mueller is likely to do this soon. So my guess is Republicans will beg off doing anything about that.
And there's not a whole lot of scoring, by the way, in a kiddie soccer game. Matthew, finally, how big of a task is President Trump facing? He heads into the State of the Union address on Tuesday amidst all of this news.
Well, it's a huge task. I mean, he goes into the State of the Union with the lowest job approval rating of any president after his first year. His other speeches have been panned over the last year. And I think what he needs to do is probably not what he's likely to do, which is speak to a majority of the country, heal the divisions in our country, and basically begin to have a moral voice in the country, something that he has found almost impossible to do.
Matt, thank you. Matt Dowd reporting in from Austin, Texas this morning. We always appreciate it. We're going to turn now to another major story this morning. Overnight, a rally on the campus of Michigan State University in support of survivors of sexual abuse.
Students took to the streets after the sentencing of disgraced doctor Larry Nassar, who sexually abused star athletes at the university as well as Olympians. The rally comes as the school is choosing new leadership and USA Gymnastics is overhauling its board. Eva Pilgrim is here, and Eva, the fallout continues.
Good morning. This case may be over, but it is spurring a lot of real questions. Larry Nassar abused a staggering number of girls for more than 20 years under the guise of medical treatment. His victims now want to know who knew what when and why no one stopped him.
A sea of teal standing in support, calling for change in the midst of the search for answers.
No more silence!
Hundreds of Michigan State students taking part in a demonstration overnight to support the more than 150 young girls, teens, and college students sexually abused by Larry Nassar, the former U.S. gymnastics team doctor who also worked at the university.
I have experienced flashback nightmares of the abuse.
Their powerful statements rocking the organizations that gave him access to them. Some of the women sitting down with ABC News.
It didn't have to be this way.
The fallout piling up. Friday, the MSU athletic director announced he's stepping down just days after the university's president announced her departure. The entire U.S. Gymnastics Board ordered by the Olympic Committee to resign, now complying.
There were at least 17 officials at MSU in some capacity, whether coaches, trainers, or at least 3 psychologists who received reports of what Larry was doing. Not a single one of them reported. Not one.
Authorities in Texas tell ABC there is now an investigation into the team's former training facility, the Caroli Ranch, run by a powerhouse coaching husband and wife team Bella and Marta Caroli. It's there many of the girls say they were sexually abused under the guise of a medical treatment. Meanwhile, the Board of Trustees at MSU vowing to make sure this never happens again.
We're awful sorry for the trouble we've caused those poor women.
And now an ESPN Outside the Lines investigation reveals a sexually hostile environment inside the men's basketball and football programs at Michigan State. The football coach there, the head football coach, saying he has reported every case that was brought to his attention, but that is now getting attention as well.
A lot of hard questions facing that campus. Eva, thank you very much.
Thanks, Eva. We want to move now to a guilty verdict for the man accused of killing former NFL player Joe McKnight during a case of apparent road rage.
Ronald Gasser has been convicted of manslaughter. He could face decades in prison, and Kenneth Moten is on the story from our Washington bureau. Kenneth, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dan and Paula. Prosecutors in the deadly case of road rage just outside of New Orleans, wanted a second-degree murder conviction. But after days of testimony and hours of deliberations, the jury came back with a lesser but still serious charge. Overnight, the man who shot and killed NFL player Joe McKnight convicted of manslaughter.
I think the jury did a great job. They were very attentive throughout the entire trial. They really did pay attention. They put a lot of work into this. We absolutely respect the verdict, and the family is very happy with the verdict.
The jury spent 7 hours deliberating on Friday before finding Ronald Gasser guilty. The 56-year-old claimed self-defense in the deadly confrontation that happened back in December 2016 when McKnight, a former New York Jets running back, allegedly cut Gasser off on a bridge in Louisiana, leading to a frenzied 5-mile chase. Surveillance video showing the two vehicles tailing each other and speeding through a turn before stopping at this light. Police say McKnight got out and leaned toward Gasser's passenger window. Gasser admits pulling out his weapon and firing 3 shots at McKnight. The sheriff told ABC News McKnight was unarmed when Gasser opened fire, but this case came down to whether McKnight was in Gasser's vehicle, giving him the legal right to stand his ground. Gasser's defense attorney Matthew Gunn, speaking to the Times-Picayune, said they were extremely disappointed and that the state relied on a decade-old incident to influence the jury, referring to a road rage incident in 2006 when Gasser punched another driver at the same intersection where he shot McKnight.
It just showed how he views other people on the street and interactions with him. It's always somebody else's fault. It was always he was always looking for a confrontation.
Gasser will be sentenced in March and faces up to 40 years in prison. The DA in Jefferson Parish says justice was served, and as you heard, McKnight's family is pleased with the verdict. Dan and Paula.
Kenneth Moten, thank you. We're going to move on now to the disturbing new numbers from the CDC on the flu epidemic.
It is getting worse with more deaths, especially among children and baby boomers. And the flu season hasn't even reached its peak. Dr. Jen Ashton is standing by with advice, but we're going to begin with ABC's Marcy Gonzalez, who's in Los Angeles with the latest on the efforts to fight this epidemic. Marcy, good morning.
Paula, Dan, good morning. Those latest numbers show flu activity in several places, including here in California, has actually decreased. But in other parts of the country, it is still spreading and showing no signs of slowing.
This morning, new numbers from the CDC show the percentage of patients dying from the flu and pneumonia going up. Among the victims, Catherine Acton, a healthy 47-year-old mother and bride-to-be, dying suddenly this week in Alabama after coming down with influenza.
You can't describe the loss, the hole that you feel.
And in Tennessee, 33-year-old father Craig Childress.
He didn't go to the doctor. He thought he could tough it out, I guess. He didn't get the flu shot this year.
The CDC says 49 states are reporting widespread flu activity, which is impacting the elderly the most. Baby boomers also getting hit hard, and so far 37 children have died from the virus, with experts estimating the actual number may be twice that.
We know that about half of those pediatric deaths have no underlying medical conditions, so they are otherwise healthy children.
Doctors warning that sometimes a robust immune system can actually work against a patient.
A lot of times, the biggest issue with the flu is that when you get in contact with it, your body's response to it, especially for a young, healthy person, can be very aggressive.
And across the country, hospitals so far treating nearly 12,000 people, with the flu this season still not at its peak.
And some emergency rooms are so overcrowded, they've had to divert ambulances. Still, doctors stress that anyone with severe symptoms should not hesitate to seek medical attention. Dan, Paula.
All right, Marcy Gonzalez reporting from Los Angeles. We want to continue the conversation with our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Jen Ashton. Jen, good morning.
Good morning,
to you
guys.
So we're hearing a lot about who could, who should take Tamiflu. Can you break that down for us?
Two main uses for antiviral medications, and the generic form is oseltamivir. One is to treat someone who has been diagnosed with the flu or that you suspect has the flu. The other one is for prevention or prophylaxis. So these are for people who have had prolonged direct contact with someone with known or suspected influenza. And on a case-by-case basis, it can be determined whether they should take Tamiflu, but there are some high-risk groups, and these include, there's a long list: pregnant women, people 65 years of age or older, people with a weakened immune system, either from cancer or HIV, people with chronic medical conditions, diabetes, any pulmonary condition, cardiac condition, asthma, and people in long-term care facilities. So it's a lot of people. They go on Tamiflu to help reduce the risk that they will get sick if they've been in contact with someone with the flu.
When you talk about the 48-hour rule. What do you mean in this context?
In the past, conventional approach was if you did not start antiviral therapy in 48 hours of someone's symptoms starting, it would do no good. Now we do have some data that even after that 48-hour window, there can be some benefit, particularly in these patients who are so high risk for serious complications. So bottom line, you shouldn't withhold treatment of Tamiflu just because you're outside of that 48-hour window.
And one thing that jumped out at us in the piece is that those with robust immune systems can be vulnerable. That seems counterintuitive.
Exactly. So when we're seeing these previously healthy people dying of the flu, and we have to stress, those are the rare cases. The majority are in people with chronic medical conditions. But when we see this happen in young, healthy people, the theory is that the immune response is so vigorous in fighting the infection, it also damages the lung tissue. So the analogy is lighting a candle with a match or a torch, and the torch will damage the candle as well.
It'll destroy the candle. And there have been so many pediatric deaths. Historically, those pediatric deaths, did they have a vaccination?
Yeah, we asked the CDC about the stats for this season, Paula. They don't know how many of the pediatric deaths this year have been vaccinated, but in the past, 80% of pediatric deaths are occurring in children who did not get the vaccine. It is still not too late to get vaccinated. It is one of the best things we can do to protect ourselves.
Bottom line, take this seriously and keep those hands clean, get vaccinated.
And it's in my household, so I'm taking it very seriously.
Yes.
My daughter.
Are you on Tamiflu?
My daughter has the flu. She's on Tamiflu, and I am on Tamiflu because I do deal with pregnant patients and as a preventative measure. No joke.
Thank you, Dr. Ashton. Our best to your daughter. We appreciate it.
You.
Let's check the weather on this Saturday morning. Get it over to Rob. There you are.
Hey, guys.
He's right here.
I thought you were over there at the weather wall.
Oh, I'm heading that way.
Okay.
Don't shoo me off just yet.
No, we love you here.
I would love you guys to. I want to show you some video. But this has been an ongoing trouble story here for the past 2 weeks. Ice jams across many of the rivers in the Northeast, the lower Susquehanna there. Near Wrightsville, Pennsylvania, an issue. High alert those residents are for potential more flooding as we go through the next day or two. The Delaware River as well, the Housatonic, the Connecticut River, all susceptible to this sort of scene. And we have temperatures today that are going to be well above freezing, well above average in the 50s here across the Northeast. More seasonal down across the South, but watch as we go through time, we'll start to get some of this colder air back into the play here into the 20s and teens across the Midwest, and Detroit getting to 29 degrees. We got some rain across parts of southeast Texas, southwest Louisiana this morning. Some of that very heavy. Flash flood watch is posted right now as it moves off towards the east. Could see 2-3 inches of rainfall with this system. And then the tail end of this will kind of scoot up towards the northeast, and maybe enough cold air meeting up with it to get a little bit of snow. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Time now for your local forecast. Here you go.
It's a mild start to the weekend with daytime highs today in the upper 50s to low 60s. We're starting out with sunshine with added clouds by the afternoon. Rain set to arrive after about midnight tonight. Notice those temperatures staying well above the freezing mark, and it looks like the rain will continue through the day on Sunday. So today is your best chance to get out and enjoy. For tomorrow, it's soggy and unsettled, but this will be beneficial rain as moderate drought continues for the D.C. area. Also notice temperatures in the mid 50s.
Much more weather in the next half an hour. Am I allowed to be back here? Is that cool
What
with
do you
guys?
mean back here?
Let's see how you behave in the interim.
Yes, sir. Okay, I'll be
We enjoy.
I think you can be there.
Rob being inside in the warm studio.
Ron would miss you if you weren't right next to him, wouldn't you, Ron?
Probably.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
That is a good answer.
You got the news department, sir.
We're going to begin with breaking news actually out of Afghanistan, where the Taliban, they've claimed responsibility for a deadly bombing overnight in Kabul. The Afghan health ministry reporting that at least 40 people have been killed and 140 injured in an explosion in the center of the Afghan capital. The ministry says the suicide bomber was driving an ambulance to get through a checkpoint. And this morning, Democrats are calling on the Republican National Committee, to return donations made by its finance chairman, Vegas casino mogul Steve Wynn. This is the Wall Street Journal reports that dozens of female workers, casino workers, are accusing Wynn of sexual misconduct. The report claiming that some of the alleged targets of his advances would hide from Wynn, others refusing to be alone with him in a room. Wynn has called the allegations preposterous. And in Pennsylvania, teenagers being hailed as a hero for preventing a possible shooting at this school near Pittsburgh. The student overhearing a 14-year-old classmate on the bus allegedly talking about plans to shoot 4 students. That student then recording the conversation and contacting police. Police say they found an arsenal of weapons in the suspect's bedroom. He now faces multiple charges. Troubling new data released by the NFL showing that the number of concussions reported by players in 2017, last year, was the highest